Okay, Brioso, today you are going to be doing page 2, exercise number 25 for your sight reading. Remember, this is the week that we are leveling up on our sight reading. So you are identifying the key signature on your own. You are drawing doe beneath your key signature on your own. And you are labeling all of your solfege on your own. So you guys work on that while the rest of the class is working. I'm going to walk around and check their work and make sure that you come to my Zoom on Thursday. Now, I posted an announcement that it was going to be on Wednesday, but I forgot we don't have school tomorrow, okay? So we're going to do that Zoom on Thursday instead at the same time at 3 o'clock, okay? If you have any questions about sight reading, because I want you to be ready for your test on Friday. Shh. Finished, Ryan?
Yeah.
No? You finished? Okay. Is everybody done? Let's go through. Write in our answers. Number 25. Okay. So this symbol right here is a sharp. It tells me I'm in the key of G. So that tells me where do is going to be. G is where do is going to be. So let's name our lines, see if we can find G. Ready? Name the lines with me. Go. E, G, B, D. And just for good measure, let's go ahead and name our spaces too. Ready? Go. F, A, C, E. But here, stop doing that. Name them correctly. Ready? Go. F, A, C, E. Okay, now let's, the second line, G, is where do is because the key's G. So do is on G, okay? So I'm going to label do right here underneath my key signature. Now I'm going to use this as my reference, okay? And I'm going to figure out what my starting pitch is. Count with me. Let's figure it out together. Ready, go. Do, re, mi. All right. First measure. Mi, re, do, re. Second measure. Mi, fa, mi. Third measure. Fa, so, la, so. Fourth measure. Fa, mi. Yes, sir.
I feel like it would, I mean, I already know the piece, but like, I feel like it would have been a smart idea. If they put like, sharp, say they put it on like, the sharp on the line G, and then they put the flat on the line F.
Well, the sharps are where they are because of music theory reasons that we won't go into. I see what you're saying, but the key signatures tell a story in a way that you don't need to understand, but just know that the sharp is G and the flat is F. Okay? All right, so everybody got your answers correct?
Yeah.
Excellent. Let's stand up. Let's chant. On your feet. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. 1 and 2 and chanting. Ready, go. Mi, re, don't hand signs. Re, mi, fa, so, la, so, fa, mi. Do that one more time. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit. It's kind of slow. Ready? Show me you're ready. Show me you're ready. 1 and 2 and chanting. Ready, go. Mi, re, do, re, mi, fa, so, la, so, fa, mi. Now, very good. Let's do the next section.
Next section.
I'm sorry, we have people that are talking. Let's do the whole thing again. There's no talking during sight reading. Ready, and again. Getting really close to that camera, Dan. Be careful. Ready, and go. Ready, sing. Mi, re, do, re, mi. Hand sign. Fa, mi, fa, so, la, so, fa, mi. Excellent work. Now, before we turn our sight reading video off today, we're going to review a couple of things, a couple of other things that are going to be on your quiz. Y'all can sit down, okay? Here are the other things that are going to be on your quiz. Obviously, you're going to have to identify the two keys. We have this key with one sharp. We have this key with one flat. The key with one sharp is the key of
G.
G, and do is E, G on the second line. We have the key with one flat in it, which is the key of F, where do is on the first space, okay? So those are the two keys that you will have to be able to identify, okay? Now we also have some note values that you will need to be able to identify, okay? So I'm going to draw those up on the screen, and I want you to tell me what kind of note is it? Eighth note, quarter note, half note, whole note. And then I want you to tell, and then we're going to raise our hands to answer these questions. So you'll raise your hand to tell me what kind of note it is, and then I'll take raises of hands for the value or how many beats. If your quiz says what is the value of this note, it means how many beats does it receive. Okay, so here we go. Here is our first one. Raise your hand if you can tell me what kind of note that is. Cameron.
Half note.
Very good. This is a half note. Raise your hand if you can tell me how many beats does a half note receive. Brooks. Two what?
Beats.
2 beats. Very good. Here's our next kind of note. Kind of note is this? Dane.
Quarter.
A quarter note. And Max, how many beats does a quarter note receive? 1 beat. Or the value is 1 beat, right? What about this? Diego?
8.
It's hard to see this, but it goes up like that. Ray? What kind of notes?
Oh.
Cole?
8 note.
8th notes. And remember, it says 8 notes because this is a note and that's an 8th note. Each of those is an 8th note. Does that make sense?
So it's
Each one of them. They're just connected at the top with a beam. It's just showing us that both of those 8th notes belong to the same beat. Okay? 8th notes. Raise your hand if you can tell me the value of an 8th note. Daniel.
Half a beat.
Half a beat. Very good. Half of a beat. All right? And then our last note is this one. Isaac.
Hold up.
A whole note. Very nice. A whole note. And how many beats does a whole note receive? Caden?
2 beats.
No, that would be a half note.
I thought you said half note.
We're on a whole note.
3.
No? Diego?
4.
4 beats. Now listen up. Shh. You will need to know all of these things for the quiz. And these things, we have been doing these for ages, right, on our sight reading. So remember, the half notes are the ones on our sight reading that we've been circling. The 8th notes are the ones that we've been putting a big box around, okay? So these are worth 2 beats. These are worth half of a beat. They go twice as fast as a quarter note. The whole note is the only note you would see in the whole measure, so it takes up the whole, all the beats in the measure, so it's called a whole note because it takes up the whole measure. Okay, so you'll need to know all of these note values, all right? Yes?
What about a dotted half note?
Dotted half note, dotted quarter note won't appear as an official question on the test.
Dotted everything.
Okay, does anybody have questions about this stuff? You've been seeing it for weeks and weeks and weeks, but you're gonna have to, you're gonna have to be able to identify what kind of note they are and the value of the notes or how many beats they receive. And when I say what kind of note, I don't mean what line or space they're on. I don't mean do, re, or mi. I mean, what kind of note is it, okay?
Can you just give us the exercises?
All right, Any questions?